Okay, so what we're going to learn how to do today is to use the gear design tools inside of Inventor. Before we do that, we need to make sure that we have a couple of pieces of key information handy. I have it on my Excel spreadsheet here. I need to know the number of teeth that I want on the gear, and I also need to know the pitch, or the NDP, the normal diametral pitch of the gear. So now that I have that information, I'm going to go ahead and open up Inventor. Now, it may seem counterintuitive, but what we need to do is we need to open up a new assembly model. The reason for that is that the gearing tools are inside of the assembly modeling setup. Now, the first thing that we'll need to do is we need to save this document. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And we are going to call this Gear Practice and save. And then we'll have the design tools available to us. If you go to the Design tab up at the top, we were at first on the Assemble tab, but that's the default tab for the assembly models. But if we go to the Design tab, we'll see that we've got all these tools available to us. We're going to go over to where we see the gear, and if you click down, it gives you the option of working with a couple different gearing design tools. We're going to work with the spur gear tool today. When I click on that, I can actually open up and see that we've got this window. And this is where I'm going to put my design information inside of it. Now, this is the common information up at the top. And the design guide is asking for the center distance. We can leave that alone. Up here, this is where we want to change the pressure angle to what we want to use. And we're going to use the 20-degree pressure angle. The desired gear ratio, that's basically just saying how big the two gears are in relationship with each other. If you're designing a gear set, you should know what the gear ratio is, and you can put that in and it'll automatically calculate it for you. If you don't, you can leave that alone. The diametral pitch is the key number here that we need to change. Okay, we're going to use a diametral pitch of 24. Then we're going to change our number of teeth. We're going to change that to 48 because that's what our design parameters are. Okay, once I click there, and right now I don't have to worry about what the gear 2 is, and I'm going to go ahead and say calculate. It'll calculate the other materials for us, and I'll say OK. It'll give us the pop-up menu here to show that it's naming all the gears for us. We'll say OK again, and then all we'll need to do is click on the screen and it'll calculate or actually form the gears for us. So here are actually design models. Now you'll notice that these are just the gears themselves. I can spin them, turn them, just to actually see what's going on. Now these gear models are not finished, but what we can do is we can add, because we'll need a hole in one of them or both of them so that we can put them on a shaft so we can use them. So what we can do over here on the model tree, you can see I can hit my little design arrow. I got my spur gears, and then I've got these two models here. This is where I'm going to actually modify the models. Let's say that I want to modify the smaller one here, okay? And what I can do is I can put my mouse over top of that, and then I can just go to edit. And that will allow me to go inside of the model to make some changes to it, okay? So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go ahead and put a hole in this model for the shaft to fit through. But before I do that, I've got to actually put a point in the center. So I'm going to go to Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch. I'm going to click on there, click on that front plane. Then I can place a point on that center, and then I can exit the sketch. Now what I can do is I can go to Hole, and I can define the size of the hole for my gear. And if you take a look, if I move my window, it already has that hole pre-selected, and that's exactly what I want. So I'll say OK, and then it puts the hole in there for me. Okay, so that model is particularly finished. And if I wanted to go back to the assembly, I'm all set. I can go back and I can work on the other gear as well. But that's the basic gist of using the design tools. You can also open up these models separately and put additional lightning holes or other features on your gearing design, or if you wish, you can go work on the the models inside of the assembly model. And that's it.